Welcome to the Happy Black Woman Podcast, where we're on a mission to empower women to transform their lives through personal development and entrepreneurship. We bring you all the information, inspiration, and motivation you need to create a life of happiness, success, and freedom. Now, please welcome your host, the happy Black woman herself, Rosetta Thurman.
Hello and welcome back to the Happy Black Woman Podcast. I am Rosetta and I'm so delighted to bring to you another wonderful guest for our interview series this month, Jennifer LaFrance. She is a phenomenal coach and I've gotten to know her through our Happy Black Woman Inner Circle program. She's allowed me to be her mentor and I've just really loved our conversations and the work that she's doing to help women. So you can read all about Jennifer on the website in our show notes. You can read her bio and check out her website and everything else. But for now, we're just going to jump right in and welcome Jennifer.
Hey, I am so happy to be a part of this. Thank you.
I love it. And of course, you all already hear Jennifer's beautiful accent. So we're gonna say, where are you based, Jennifer?
I am based in New Orleans. So usually people ask me the first 5 minutes, you're not from New Orleans, are you? I'm actually originally from Mississippi. So.
So yes, Jennifer has a beautiful Southern accent for that reason. And, for everyone who doesn't know who you are, who isn't, in our inner circle, tell everybody, what's your mission and what's the work that you do?
Thank you. My mission is to encourage, inspire, and educate. As a life coach, these three words are just so important to me to keep me grounded for my clients. I want to encourage and support women to see their value, inspire them with examples, not only of how I am living my life, but others that have traveled the same road and have had the same experiences. And lastly, educate them how to tap into their inner strength to increase their clarity and focus so that they can live the best life that they want to live.
I love that. Incredible mission. And so, as a coach, how do you do that? How does that work?
Well, the first thing is really working with the client to understand what is blocking them, what is preventing them from seeing themselves as being that entrepreneur, being, that individual that they want to be. And a lot of times it's those mental tapes that we play in our head of what we can't do instead of looking at, I can do this. I can just move past it and eat the elephant one chunk at a time and, achieve my goals. So it's really about talking through to the individual and helping them to see to change their way of thinking.
I love it. And that can come up for so many of us on our journey to create our ideal lives. So thank you for sharing that process. And, I'm curious to have everyone know, what was it that made you turn this into a business? What made you create this business doing this work?
I am the reason that I started this business because I was doing the very thing that I talked about. I was living a life from the sidelines and not really fully invested. I was, successful in my career, but I just felt disillusioned by the whole thing. And when I started asking others how they felt, friends and family, they were feeling the same way. And I thought, why are we doing this? Why are we just not involved in embracing our lives fully? But I continued on. And then in 2005, of course, everyone knows Hurricane Katrina happened. And I felt even more disillusioned because now the stuff that I just so coveted and, had materials and everything that I had collected were gone. So now what? Now what is the purpose for my life? But I continued on as we do. And in 2011, my company went through a reorganization and my job was eliminated. And I thought, this is a perfect time for me to embrace what I want to do. And more importantly, to start helping others to get to this place before age 50, like I was, and really help them to embrace their life. and not be on the sidelines as I was for so many years.
I know a lot of ladies can resonate with what you said about being on the sidelines, is that sometimes we find ourselves watching when we should be in the game and really doing the things that we want to do.
Yeah, I agree.
So for someone who, is thinking about, in that space that you just talked about, where you were and where many of your clients are, what are some specific steps that our listeners can take today to really start rediscovering themselves and really getting back in the game? What are some suggestions that you have?
It's very simple. And we think a lot of times it's so much of an effort. But the key thing is just to really allow yourself to daydream. Don't think about how I will pay for this or what am I going to do to sustain myself and my family. Just daydream. What would you do if you could achieve what you wanted to achieve? And then just start writing. And I would ask that at least 10 to 15 things. Just write all the things that you would love to do. Look at the list and commit to doing at least 2 to 3 things this year. Mm. It's just as simple as that, to start the process of, you know what, you can do it. 2 years ago, I saw a picture of Greece. Had no idea how I was going to get there. I was not I was actually working a part-time job. How can I do this? Last year, April 30th, 2015, I went to Greece and Rome and thoroughly enjoyed it. So now there is no limit. Mm-hmm. There is no limit to what I can do.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Daydream. Great tip. What else could we do to get started? It's
a matter of working with someone such as myself or a close friend in terms of talking through. Again, a lot of times what we think that are in our heads of the impossibilities, they have such power over us. So if you work with someone, a life coach, or work with a friend who really understands and who supports you and help you think through the things that you think are impossible or difficult to manage or to overcome, and you start seeing your dream or your vision manifest itself. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times it's really a matter of you pushing past some of those issues that you have in your brain that I just can't do it. Mm. Just talking through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another great one. I mean, sometimes when we say it in our head, it makes so much sense of why we can't do something. And then when we talk to someone, we realize that there are possibilities that we hadn't even considered because we were all in our head. So I love that. Daydream, talk to someone. And is there anything else you can share that would help people get started, get unstuck, and start to get off the sidelines?
I think the other thing to keep in mind is do something every day. If it's nothing more than being on your computer and typing in, I want to be, whatever that is, and then just start working on something every day. It may be the smallest of things to you, but guess what? It's one thing further on your dream. So don't think anything is too small towards your vision or towards your business, because again, with me, when I review and look back over what I've done, I'm just amazed at the progress. But at the time, I thought I wasn't, I haven't made any type of progress, but each day moves you closer to your, to your dream or vision.
I love that. So you've given us some great tips so far. And I also am wondering, you said that this business came out of your own experience and your own path. So is there anything you can share with us about your typical day of the things that you kind of do that support this empowerment, living this lifestyle that you help your clients live? What are some things that you do in your daily life that help you with that?
One of the things I believe, and it's my day is very fluid, because one of the things I learned about myself that I can be very critical, very hard on myself. And so I want to make sure that I enjoy this process. Yes, I want the outcome of having a successful business, but I also want to enjoy the fact that I am, an entrepreneur. So I start off every day with a great workout, about an hour to an hour and a half. This helps me to not only work on my physical self, but it gives me an opportunity to meditate and to listen to inspirational music and podcasts, and kind of sets the tone for what I want to do. I also realized that instead of working straight through the day as I was used to in corporate America, that I needed to break things up. I really needed to inject some creative thoughts in my head throughout the day so it can keep it moving. So what I do is I post on my Facebook page some type of inspirational message that helps me and also provides my potential clients with, an inspirational spot. Then I jot down notes from my virtual assistant that I have in terms of helping me with my business, things that I may need to tweak from the technical side. And she has such a great eye of helping me look at my business. Then after that, that's usually midday around 1 or 2 o'clock. I have a little lunch, and then I check my emails, voicemails. And then the afternoon for me is a time of creativity. So I do research on possible articles or things that I want to use for blogging, do some reading to help me, with my business. And I'm actually in the process of writing a couple of books. So I write through the rest of the evening, and that may end about 6 or 7, depending on what's happening throughout the day. So a full day, but I always try to make it creative, keep it focused on that mission, even for myself, to encourage myself, to inspire me to continue, and also to educate.
I love that you broke down your day that way. And I know many people can relate to being more creative towards the end of the day. So I'm glad that you broke down how you take the time to do that. So much learning happens when we just hear about how successful business owners kind of organize their day and their life. So thank you for that. So, switching gears a little bit into our inspiration segment, I'm wondering, through your journey, especially as you've rediscovered, when you rediscovered yourself and decided to make some changes in your life, was there a favorite book that inspired you or helped you along the way?
Yes. This book, and there were so many, I was trying to think which one could I possibly spotlight, but the book that really helped me on my journey is called If You Want to Walk on Water, You've Got to Get Out of the Boat. And the author's name is John Ortberg, O-R-T, B as in boy, E-R-G. Such a powerful, powerful book. Well, first of all, the very fact of the title lets you know what it's about. If you want to walk on water, if you want to achieve, you first have got to be a risk taker and get out the boat. You can't sit there and wait for something to happen. You have to do it. Mm-hmm. You have to step outside of your comfort zone. You need to face your fears. You need to embrace your failures. And a lot of people say, what? I don't want to talk about failures. Yes, you absolutely need to do that. I have seen so many articles, seen so many people talk about how the failures or the things that have happened to them has been the cornerstone or the foundation to help them move toward their next opportunity. So embrace your failures and be a risk taker. So I love the book.
The title itself is so compelling. If you want to walk on water, you got to get out of the boat. And you kind of see that image so clearly. It's like, man, I want to do really amazing things. And so many women listening, we get emails all the time that say, I feel like I have this big vision for my life. I feel I have a calling. I feel like I'm here because I'm supposed to help a lot of people, but I'm scared. Yes. So they haven't even, that you can't do this big thing if you are not willing to do the little thing, the baby step of just get out the boat, just set up your website, start talking to people, start putting yourself out there, because you can't get to that big vision if you don't take the baby steps. So cool.
Absolutely.
So we're going to add that to our Happy Black Woman list here. Thank you. No one's ever mentioned that one. I love when we get new ones that no one's mentioned before. So thank you for that. And,
Absolutely.
I always ask people about, different mantras or mottos that they live by. I mean, I love personal mantras. I choose one every year that kind of guides my life. So are there any personal mantras or mottos or sayings that you live by that you can share with us?
Absolutely. And this one is in alignment with the book. And all of this came together almost like a perfect storm during this time when I thought about being an entrepreneur. The mantra is, a year from now, you will wish you had started today. And that really resonated for me because I have heard so many people, so many of my clients, I'll do that. I'll get to it. And you look up and it's a year from now, 2 years from now, and you hadn't started anything. Again, if you want to walk on water, start, daydream, do something. Just something every day is moving you closer to it. So that has been such a part of me, even when I am fearful or I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how can I do this? And then I think, you know what? But I'm doing something. And as I look back a month later, 6 months later, I realize, wow, I went on that trip. I've started this website. I have clients, but you have to start somewhere. And so that to me is huge when I talk to clients about, let's just start the process. Don't worry about all the particulars. Just start it, because when you look at January of 2017, you'll think, wow, I wish I had started.
Yeah, that is so important to really think about how we're going to get to where we want to be. And the hardest part is starting. People don't believe that a lot of times, but the hardest part is getting started. My background, my educational background is that I was an English major in college. And, it's really difficult for anybody to just sit down and write on a blank page, whether you're typing or you're writing in a notebook. And the way that our professors used to get us into the act of writing is sitting us down with a timer and saying, everybody is going to write for 10 minutes. No exceptions, right?
I love
it's like just getting started. And a lot of people, their novels started with that 10-minute writing exercise. Books of poems started that way. I mean, the hardest part is getting started. And if you can take Jennifer's advice and remember that a year can go by and that's time that you can't get back, it really can help us move forward faster.
What you mentioned about your professor, that just ties back into the action steps I mentioned. If you can't think or you're getting stuck, do something fun, daydream. All of us likes to daydream and think about what we would do or how we would handle things differently. Just do that. Don't worry about all the how-tos at the moment. Just sit down and think, if money wasn't an issue or if there was nothing that could prevent you from doing these things, what would you do? I assure you, I guarantee the page will be full, because we can think of the many things that we would like to do and just build yourself from there.
I love it. So, that's a great mantra that we can remember as we go forward into our lives. And, when you look at your life now, I love that you talked earlier about making sure that you enjoy the process of being an entrepreneur, of serving people and leaving your mark on this world. Like, what are some of the things that make you happy?
Things that make me happy are very simple things. I love, love, love beach vacations. The older I get, the more in tune that I want to be with nature, beach, mountains. So I love those. Having dinner or an outing with 3 or 4 friends that I can just be totally comfortable with, just kick back, have one of those belly laughs that you just can enjoy, or reminiscing. And then a book that I just can totally get lost in. And as I was looking at these 3 things, I realized these are all about connections. Connections with individuals, connections with nature, and connections with the message or the book that I'm just totally absorbed in. And that's one of my words for this year is is to be divinely connected, be connected to other individuals. So those make me very happy.
I love it. Who doesn't like belly laughs?
I certainly do.
They really renew you. So as you have gone on this journey and you've been in the process of building your business, what's some of the advice that you would give to people, women who are listening that are just starting this process? And you've been able to figure out what it is that you want to do and how you can kind of take your passion and turn it into a business. But there are so many ladies who are 5 steps behind you in that process. So is there any advice that you could give? If you could just share one mega piece of advice that maybe you wish you had gotten, or that you have kind of looked back, and if you knew what you knew now kind of thing, what would that be for all the ladies who are building a business, doing what they love?
I would really tell them to check their gut. When they're feeling a little unsure or hesitant, check their gut. Not only their physical gut, but also, again, how they're feeling when they are talking about their present situation or present job. And then when they talk about what they love to do, compare those and see how they feel. Are you just in such a rut and dread going to work? And then compare that with this vision, this dream that you want from yourself. And how do you feel about that? I know it sounds simple, but it's such a guideline. It's such a process to help you to move toward that. Mm-hmm. All of us wants to feel that they're doing something, that they're connecting, that they are helping other individuals in the world. And when you look at that and compare, I assure you, you're going to start moving any way you can to get to that feeling of doing what you love. But it starts with understanding how you feel, knowing who you are. Do you really understand that when you talk about this, your eyes light up, that you have all these different things and visions of how you would do the process? You already have it in your brain. Start manifesting it. That would be my number one tip.
Yeah, I love that word, manifest, and really paying attention to how you feel, because a lot of times as women, we don't trust our feelings. We trust logic more than our feelings.
Yes,
and that logic is what keeps us in jobs that are quote unquote secure because it's logical. But what you just said was to trust, really just trust our feelings. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that, because it really invites us to get back into who we really are, and in terms of manifesting, maybe some of the things that we think we should be doing aren't really the things that we should be doing. So
I agree.
Yeah, that tip can really help people go a different way. So great tips. And I can't let you go without asking, how can my listeners stay in touch with you? Because we've just kind of skimmed the tip of the iceberg here in what you know and can share with our Happy Black Woman community. So how can ladies keep in touch with you? Is there a place we can go to follow you further?
Yes, they can visit my website, www.jlinconsulting.com. And while you're there, you can sign up for my free gift, the 3-day declutter challenge. I love this particular topic because many times, as we talked about, we're so stagnant. It prevents us from really being clear on what we want, but we have to start somewhere. And for many of us, it is the physical clutter that keeps us from even thinking straight and having creative ideas. So I give you a step-by-step process of how to work through this process. And believe me, you'll be surprised. I went through it myself in October, and I'm now working in my nice, clean office and having this wonderful podcast as a result of being able to think clearly and live with clarity. So I welcome you to go to my home page. Is at the bottom of the page, sign up, and it will be sent to you, and you can start the process today.
I love it. So just for those of you who are taking notes and writing it down, you can go to jlinconsulting.com. Can you spell that for everyone?
Sure. That's JAELYNN consulting.com.
And when you go there on the homepage, you can go ahead and sign up for Jennifer's 3-day declutter challenge, which I know that so many of you are always looking for ways to help you declutter and get that physical clutter out of your life so you can have more clarity in your mind, because that's where it manifests, that clutter. So what a great gift, Jennifer, for everyone listening. And of course, it allows all the ladies listening to begin their relationship with you. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Rosetta.
For those of you who have been scribbling furiously, you can get all the resources that Jennifer mentioned in our show notes. So we'll put the link to the books she mentioned, to her website, and all you have to do is go to happyblackwomanpodcast.com, and you can always get the show notes. If you haven't listened to our previous episodes, you're missing out. You want to go back and listen to all of our previous guests, because Jennifer is just one of our many wonderful entrepreneurs that we've been featuring in this series. So if this is the first interview you've heard, go back and listen to the previous ones, because they are just as good, and you will be taking notes all the way through. So in the meantime, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Happy Black Woman podcast. If you want all the show's notes from today's episode, go to happyblackwomanpodcast.com. Plus, we'll send you a copy of Rosetta's free life mapping workbook. We look forward to empowering you next time. And until then, do something this week that makes you happy.